Oh, so far away, Lucas. How do you take your tea?
I'm more of a coffee person.
You know what? That's fine. As we've discussed on the channel before, people in Britain take their cup of tea very seriously, to the point where near enough every aspect of the tea making process is something that people feel very strongly about. And have you got any particular foibles when it comes to tea, or encountered any in your day-to-day life?
I mean, I can't cope with anyone that puts the milk in before the tea bag comes out.
No, I can't stand that. It just looks weird.
It's just not right.
It's not. It's like there's a process to making tea. Like, you can argue about how much milk you put in, you can argue about what kind of tea, but there's a very specific, deliberate process to making tea, and you can't change that up. It'd be like putting milk into the bowl before your cereal. And I've met people who do that, and it's weird. As an idea of how petty a thing people get worked up over in regards to making tea, even the water used to make your tea is something people can complain about, especially if you happen to use hard water. So Lucas, do you know what hard water is?
It's water that'll beat you in a fucking fist fight. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's the water that'll fucking dob you in outside of Wetherspoons.
It's like got like more minerals and stuff in it, I believe.
Got it in one, yeah. It's very simply, hard water is water that has a just higher than average amount of trace minerals in it, such as magnesium and calcium. And yes, for the people wondering, does the existence of hard water mean that there is also soft water? Yeah, that's the correct terminology. Soft water is like the opposite, where it's water without many minerals and things in it. And things like rainwater or purified water are considered to be soft water. And water's one of those weird things where you don't really think about it all that much until you taste bad water. And have you ever had bad water?
Not necessarily bad water. I probably have at some point, but I do notice the difference between Sheffield water and Liverpool water. I prefer the Yorkshire water.
And that's, oddly enough, one of the things we're going to be talking about today. And there are a couple of misconceptions about hard and soft water I should address first, though. The first and most important being that one or the other is unhealthy. There is no discernible scientific difference between consuming hard and soft water. It is literally a matter of taste. And for the curious, yes, you can taste the difference between hard and soft water. You can also feel the difference. And curiously, why you'd expect hard water to be the one that you can feel the difference of, because it's got things in it. It's noted that soft water generally tastes and feels off, quote unquote, because almost all water has some kind of trace mineral in it. So when you experience purified water, it just doesn't feel right. Because almost every bit of water and liquid you consume has some of these trace elements in them that are completely safe and harmless, according to every single study ever conducted on it, it just feels off. And it reminds me a little bit of when I visited Switzerland. Like, here's a photo of me in Switzerland, well, like a jackass. And I went to the top of this mountain to go paragliding. That's right, I've lived. And I got to the top of the mountain, I got out the car, and I breathed in and went, I've never breathed air before. I just breathed in and went, I have never tasted oxygen before. What is going on? And it's because like the air up there is so clear and there's like just thousands upon thousands of trees. It was literally breathtaking. Well, I couldn't fathom what was happening to me because I'd never felt that air tasted good. And it was such a strange feeling.
Yorkshire air is not quite as pure.
That's the thing, like, you know, when you go to like, you know, some areas about outstanding natural beauty in the UK, you can taste it, can't you? When you go to an area that's like lots of nature and stuff around.
Yeah, I hate it because I constantly get hay fever in any place like that.
And it's one of those things where you never think about it until you do, and when you start thinking about it, you can't think about anything else. It's like the taste equivalent of when people point out that you can see the end of your nose, or when they say like, oh, you're aware of the fact that you're manually breathing, and then you're like, oh god, now I'm going to be thinking about that all day.
Why did you have to say that, Carl?
Because someone in the comments is going to say it. And it's similar with water, where you never think of water having a taste until you think about it and go, no, yeah. It does have a taste. I just can't describe what that taste is because it's the base that everything gets built on top of. It's like asking someone what colour a mirror is, or what does vanilla taste like? You don't like this. So should we move swiftly on then to where tea comes into this?
Let's move on to tea because I'm just thinking about like all of the inconsequential things that actually matter. It's like,
Yep.
no,
Well,
we're getting existentialist out here.
And I really see tea as a very cathartic process sometimes, because there's a lot of ritual to it. You know, there's little things that you do that just make you realise that your day's not so bad.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm making a tea, like I'll put a few drops of milk in and just watch the tea change colour.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that very cathartic and very relaxing. It reminds me a little bit of like a lava lamp or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Can get lost in those lava lamps.
Yeah, I love lava lamps. There's one in my bedroom I just stare at to go to sleep because I'm weird like that. Like, and whenever I say that, someone says, "Oh, Karl does drugs," it's like I don't smoke weed. I just like my mind is very active and I need to focus on something to distract me from all that. And a lava lamp is something that helps me do that because I just focus on the colours moving up and down. It puts me to sleep. And a lot of people have those like little rituals and things in their life that help them cope with the stresses and anxieties of just day-to-day living. And have you got any little rituals when it comes to making your coffee? You said you prefer coffee. Do you have any like that? Anything you do, like a specific mug that you have or anything like that?
Well, I mean, you visited my house. We've got so many mugs between two people that there's like every single mug has a purpose. So we have, I have a coffee mug. My partner has a coffee mug. Then we have like tea cups and we have, squash cups and alcohol glasses and like. Yep. It's very, very, like, just trying to find an excuse to have 50 mugs between two people.
Yeah, and regular viewers of his channel will no doubt notice I have a mug in my hand for near enough every episode, unless I'm, drinking water or a beer or something like that. And I'm similar where I have a couple of mugs in my house that have a very specific purpose. And you know what? Just for shits and giggles, in the background now will be a picture of every member of the channel's favourite mug. Let's do that. And we can explain the backstory to ours now, Lucas. Do you have a story for your favourite mug?
It's not particularly like a story or anything. I just have a nice mug that I got from Disney that's like a cool Donald Duck, like pop arty mug that I just think looks really cool.
And my favourite mug, which is going to be pictured somewhere behind me, is a little mug. You've seen it, haven't you, Lucas? It's just a little mug. And it says, "My name's Karl and I'm a little monster." And I've had that mug for 25 years now, and it was bought for me by my granddad, who's no longer with us. And it's one of the only things I've ever been given that has my name spelled correctly on it. It is my most treasured possession. If it ever got broken, I would throw hands. So no one's allowed to drink it. That's my mug. And it's like, do you know that thing of like, where's your name? Right there. My fucking mug. And then the other mug, which people see in videos a lot. Oh God. I nearly went down the fucking conduit centre in the office. God, this better be fucking worth the joke. It's this one, the Hello Kitty mug, which is another mug I've had for about 10, 15 years now. And when my younger sister was like 3 or 4 years old, we got her a Hello Kitty dinner set, which included this mug. And I just really like this mug. And for years, there was an argument between myself and my sister of every time I went home, I tried to take this mug, and she'd be like, "No, that's my mug." I'm like, "But I use it more."
So eventually you just stole it from her?
Well, no, because there's also a Hello Kitty bowl that I really like. And my sister also likes that bowl. And we agreed, like, I'll take the mug, you take the bowl. And I don't think I'm weird for saying this, but I'm very particular about the bowls I eat my cereal out of, because I don't like those bowls that are too shallow. I don't like those bowls because, one, you can't get enough cereal in there, and I always feel like I'm going to fucking spill it. And it reminds me of being a kid and spilling the mug, because I'm one of those weirdos who doesn't sit down to eat. I stand up and eat all of my meals near enough, unless it's something substantial that I can't eat while stood up. So just having just the Hello Kitty bowl, which is perfectly shaped to fit in my hand, and I can just have my cereal. And I have so many fond memories of coming in drunk and just getting a bowl of cereal out of that bowl, and then coming down in the morning and then putting some more cereal in that bowl. I'm like, yeah, I'm such a weirdo.
I didn't want to say it.
I don't know how my girlfriend deals with me sometimes. Like when she first moved in, and I was like, do you know those things that you don't think of them as being strange, but then she'd see me do them and would be like, wait, what? Like me humming every time I go to the toilet. Yeah, I hum literally every time I go for a piss, and it's something I've never noticed, but people always comment, and my girlfriend like, and it's not even that you hum. You also like sometimes sing, but it's the same thing every time. So you just go do 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 every time. And I think I don't notice that I do it, but just every time I get up in the middle of the night to go for a piss, my girlfriend's like, I can just hear you in the bathroom like do 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 do. So let's move swiftly on, shall we? Like we're not actually moving on. We're moving back. So we've not talked about what the water means for the tea.
No, we haven't. So why is the tea got to be hard?
Well, the tea's got to be rock hard, specifically in Yorkshire, where we drink something known as Yorkshire Tea. And have you ever wondered why specifically Yorkshire Tea is sold in Yorkshire for us Yorkshire lot?
Well, now I'm presuming it's something to do with the fact that Yorkshire water is pretty hard water.
It has a lot to do with that, and it's not just that Yorkshire water is rock hard, it's also because Yorkshire water is sometimes quite soft. In fact, within the relatively small geographic area of Yorkshire, the water ranges from the softest in the UK to the hardest in the UK. And as a result, the water can taste quite dramatically different from place to place, especially when you use it to make a cup of tea. And that's something the company Yorkshire Tea is all too aware of, to the fact where they actively have to anticipate it when creating their blends of tea.
Sorry, I'm just staring at a spider that's coming towards me from the corner of the room.
Okay, in which case, though, while you're staring at the spider, I have to comment on the fact that after about 10 years, Yorkshire Tea finally got fucking Shaun Bean to do an advert.
Shaun Bean himself. How did they not have that one nailed down straight away?
It's so baffling it took them so long to get Shaun Bean to do an advert for Yorkshire Tea, the most Yorkshire man in the world.
Because here, we make more than just tea. We make proper brews. Brews that bring a tear to your eye and warmth to your soul. So go out there and do it for each other. Do it for yourselves, but most of all, do it for Yorkshire!
Bringing it back to Yorkshire Tea and the fact that they have to actively anticipate and prepare for the fact that Yorkshire Tea is going to be made with a variety of waters, their factory in Harrogate has to ship in, and I quote, tankers full of the UK's hardest water on a weekly basis. And all of their officers have taps that dispense both hard and soft water so that people can literally taste the difference. And for anyone out there thinking, that's a bit excessive for a cup of tea, keep in mind we're British, and then it makes sense. This is all we've got. It's our only cultural export, and we don't even make it here.
It's stolen from another country.
Well, what's more British than that?
That's the British culture, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you ever see
Stealing
that
other people's culture and claiming them as our own.
And do you know what to end on, Lucas? Can we just talk about the concept of banter? Because I don't think Americans fully understand what it means, and it's resulted in us on this channel actually getting quite a bit of flack in the past.
Right, yeah.
Because me and you, we are good friends, yeah? So we've known each other for a decade at this point.
We have indeed, yeah.
And we will engage occasionally in what's known as banter, which to outside observers, not from this country, can appear quite harsh sometimes, can't it?
It can, but I will say that we are on the mellow side of banter rather than what you might think of all the traditional lads in a pub calling each other horrible things, quote unquote banter.
Well, that's the thing. Have you ever met an Australian where they use the word cunt as a sign of admiration?
I've not met an Australian before, but I've heard things like that, taking banter to another level.
And that's the thing of it can be quite surprising to some people to see someone go up to him and go, you're a right cunt, aren't you? And it's what? No, he's not. He's being nice, he's being friendly, but it can appear quite aggressive. We actually have a video on this channel where that happens. There's that video from many years ago. I think it's the one about the Gimpy Gimpy tree, where Brad steps in front of the camera and I jokingly ream him out for it. And Brad's I'm so sorry, Karl, I'm so sorry, doing that joking way. And to this day, we still get comments on that video saying, wow, Karl's a knobhead in this. And Brad's you were clearly joking, we're bantering, we're friends. As if all that wasn't baddy fuck enough. Brad, what are you doing in front of the camera?
So I was checking the focus. I just realised that...
It's really distracting.
Sorry, man.
You want to adjust the focus live. There we go. So I'm either getting blurrier or closer to the camera right now.
I think you were in focus. I just realised that
and now I'm out of focus. Fantastic. Great. Thanks for really putting me off my stride there, mate.
There was a more recent example of that with the Macaulay Culkin face in the thumbnail. Cut that out or I'll fire you. Mm-hmm. And obviously we used that thumbnail
as a joke. Because that's what banter is. It's when you make, oh no, that photo's embarrassing, don't do that. Then you make it your Facebook profile photo. And it's one of those things that really highlighted the stark divide between American and British culture for me. And the other one is sarcasm, which I think Americans need to be taught what sarcasm is in school. Like, that's not me joking or being sarcastic. I legitimately think Americans need to be taught what sarcasm is, because the amount of times, again, in videos and podcasts and streams and stuff, we are being what I think is so over the top sarcastic, you can't possibly think we're being serious. People think we're being serious.
I've never been sarcastic before in my life, Karl.
Oh, okay. No, it is. Like, that's the thing. And it's so, and this thing, to me, it just seems so obvious, so natural to know. Like, you can just pick up on it. It's not even a skill that I think I learned, but I must have done, because there are people out there who don't have it. And the joke I always make is they need to give every American a book called How to Learn What Sarcasm Is, and just make it blank, and they won't know what it is. And that, to me, is even funnier. You know what? Like, speaking of banter, because these are one of those things I think it's like, we've got merch. We've got the I'm a Big Wanger t-shirt, which I think is like, it falls into that thing of like British people having that very self-depreciating sense about them and being willing to poke fun at themselves. Of having stuff like I'm a Big Wanger. So anyone's ever wondered like the origins of the Big Wanger name? Because it is very funny, admittedly. And I do get asked quite often, like, why is your company called Big Wangers? Because that's not a joke, by the way. Like, I literally own a company called Big Wangers Incorporated. It is registered on Companies House. Lucas, Brad, and Nisha all get their wages from Big Wangers. The reason is, it's funny for the Bants. And the origins of Big Wangers is that I was at a house party with my accountant, who's a good friend of mine, and it's just when the channel had just started to take off, and he advised me, you should probably set up a company. It's a smart thing to do to shield yourself from like any potential legal repercussions, and it's like, just a good way to keep all the money the channel earns in one place and sort it out for taxes and stuff like that. I went, oh, how would I do that? I went, oh, it's simple. You fill in a form, you send it in. I can help you do that, and that's how he became my accountant. So good salesmanship from him.
It was, yeah.
And he asked me, like, so what would you want to call the company? I went, well, what can I call it? And, well, normally people just use their name. And then I started thinking about my last name and thought, ooh, what about like Smallwood Enterprises? That'd be quite funny. And I went, yeah, you could probably call it. I went, no, even funny, Big Wood. Call it Big Wood Incorporated. And he went, yeah, you could do that. I went, no, how about Big Wangers? And he went, okay, that's probably pushing it, but you could call it that if you want. No, Big Wangers Incorporated. It's like, that would work. And he filled in the paper and he sent it off. And the story I tell is that it took about 2 weeks longer for that application to get processed than it normally would. That's how Big Wangers Incorporated came to be. It's just a joke that I thought was quite funny. It's some banter.